Welcome back to Sigil of Something. Again, we're diving into Compendium Wraith cards, how they're affecting every class. Today we're diving into the Brute, Common, and Rares, how they're going to affect the Brutes in Silver Age. So, as always, we're going to have a class-specific hero. It's going to be the Rhinar Marvel. It's going to be the original Marvel art there. So, this one here, there's lots of different Rhinars available. So, this is going to be that OG young OG young Rhinar for the Marvel. I'm perfectly a fan of this art, which was done in Heavy Hitters. There's a cold foil version that I believe was done in the what was that? The Dory classic battle packs with Dory Rhinar, which is pretty cool. Um, but again, Rhinar has a Marvel. That's kind of cool. Again, we have a full suite of equipment. We have 3 generic brute cards, and then we have those class specific talented versions as well. But looking at the equipment to start here, again, we saw this with the headpiece for the Guardians with this basic generic Arcane Barrier 1. This is going to be on that leg slot. It says brute. Again, this is no room boots with brute flare. So maybe that means something. But again, it's kind of cool to have brute specific arcane barrier. And then with the arms, we have again that do thing that's related to the class. This time pitching a 6 or more, get spell void 3. So again, ways for brutes to find spell void, specifically spell void 3 is difficult to play around. You can pitch the arcane barrier with a 6 or more and then activate the spell void 3, which is pretty strong there to prevent maybe an Aether Spindle from going off against Kano, an Emeritus Scolding, something like that as well. So, or if you have floating resources already in your pitch zone, you can just ignore that arcane barrier at all and just use that spell void and prevent that going forward. Buzzard Helm we're going to talk about first. Again, it's that temper. Again, ways to get +1 is going to be thematic to the class. This time, discard a random card. If it's 6 or more, you get the positive effect. So again, all these temper cards, for especially for the commons and the rares and Compendium, are doing these things. And we're seeing this throughout the equipment piece. Do something that is thematically related to the class. This time, discarding a 6 or more to get that +1 value on those temper pieces. Kind of cool there. Predatory Plating. That's going to be our Guardwell piece. Activate to destroy this to gain 1, and only if you control a card with six or more. So if you have something with go again, you need additional resources. Maybe you pitch to blue and you need an additional resource to swing your next thing. You control that card with 6 or more. You can activate to destroy this, gain that additional resource, and go from there. There's some also interesting beat chest cards that get some benefit off of not having a chest. So you can play that card. You can instant destroy that. You can get that +2, I believe what it is there. You can additional resource. If it has go again, you can follow up using that resource there. Again, having guardrail is nice because this is you're gonna be able to block with it early and then use that instant effect when you want. So I think that's a staple card for brutes in Silver Age, and we're going to see a lot of play around with that. Again, it's doing the thing that we've seen with Savage Sash in that Majestic slot. Again, ways to get more resources. Again, you have to meet a thematic thing there, that being the 6 or more. And Guardrail 2 is very, very strong. Moving into the rares, Rip Off the Top is fine. You draw a card, then you pitch a random card from your hand. If it has 6 or more, your next tech gets +3. This feels 100% like a Tough Nut card. Pitch a random card from your hand. If it has 6 more, you get +3, and maybe there's ways to swing rock in that way in bigger formats. But like again, I don't think Tough Nut is really even viable in Silver Age. It's really not something to think about. It's fine. It seems fun. It's a yellow. It blocks 2. So like again, there's things that aren't great about it. The next 2 cards I am a fan of though. Aggressive Pounce. If you've intimidated an opponent this turn, this gets go again. So let's say you barraging beatdown into an aggressive pounce. It has go again. Has the barraging tacked on plus whatever it may be. You've already intimidated, and then you can swing up maybe with a claw from there or something like that. And the nice thing about aggressive pounce is you're not going to have to get rid of a card from hand. And in order to do that, that's sometimes the issues with Rhinar's hero ability is you have to just discard a card and you get no benefit back for just random discard. There's the random draw card, then discard, which is pretty nice for Rhinar to be able to cycle that hand again. I don't think this card's going to see play in Kayo. I think Kayo would rather have only play this if you pitch a card with 6 or more. It's going to be a 2 for 7 in that red, 2 for 5 at that blue. So it has that similar text to that run rough shot, only do this if you've met the 6 or more condition. This time pitching a 6 or more. You're more or less pitching a 6 or more, especially off of Kayo's hero ability to give them +1 when they're not in hand type situation. So I think the yellows and the blues are good there. I think the reds, it's fine. It's a 2 for 7, but there's better cards that KO can be playing that kind of fill that 2 for 6, 2 for 7 role instead. So he'll probably play those. Pound of Flesh is a super interesting Levia card because everyone banishes a card from their hand. If you didn't banish something with 6 or more, they lose life. So this ways to chip down your opponent's life total, which is super interesting. I think we could see this potentially played in CC. I think you kind of want to play this in Silver Age, which is, I think, kind of the focus of this video, obviously. But again, something to think about with Levia there. Also, getting things into banish and turning off that hero and that blood debt and things like that as well. It's a whole game that Levia is playing there. But again, another way to play that game. It blocks 3, which is always going to be a positive there. It is not a 6, so if sometimes she has those random discards and banishes from her own graveyard, it's going to be a miss off that. So again, there's that construction constraints that you have to go around when you're building Levia. But I think a way to get rid of, a little health on your opponent is always a good thing. Tough as a rock, tough net card, 100%. Also, it's a revered brute card, so it has to be a tough net card. It's a blue 6. If you have less health than your opponent, otherwise this is a 3 for 0. It is a blue block 3, which is helpful for brutes. Again, Tough Nut, not really viable. I think maybe if you're going to be playing Tough Nut, you should probably be playing him in CC, because that's really the only place that he kind of has a home at the moment. And even then, it's not a great home, but if you're playing Tough Nut, you're probably just having a bunch of fun anyways, so more power to you there. I do like this card. I think the art's pretty cool. I think the effect of, if you, again, we talked about this with the revered guardian card for Pleiades, having that less health and being able to get those additional bonus is the thing the revered heroes want to be doing. It's kind of a strange thing to do because you're using your life as a resource, and sometimes you just get whittled down too much that you can't make that pivot turn. It happens. And then the reviled brute card, the KO card, the RKO card, the Cheeto, whatever you want to call them. If this has 6 or more, it gets go again. And then on hit, the next attack action card you play has base 6. So you can swing this. You can activate that RKO hero ability, have it get 6 or more, give it go again, potentially in the reaction window. It hits, you swing something else, I don't know, something like a 0 for something, it's going to come in for 6. Maybe you string together another Chain of Brutality, it does the same thing again. So there's some interesting plays you can do there. Again, with Cheeto, RKO, whatever you want to call him, you kind of do need a blue plus something else. If that's a Vigor token, awesome. His hero ability is going to generate that for you. If you have maybe 2 cards in hand to maybe send a 2 for something, there's ways to do that as well. So interesting card. I think that card is 100% almost a build around piece for RKO, Cheeto, whatever you want to call him, in CC and Sage. I think you can do a lot of fun things in Sage with it and just string together a bunch of 0 for 1s and things like that block 3 that you can just Chain of Brutality, Snatch for 6 with on hit draw a card. That would be kind of cool to see. However, I don't think it's going to happen, but again, it's fun, and sometimes the point of any of this is to have fun. But that's the Brute class wrapping up from there. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you can take some skills, improve your deck building, or anything else in between. And I'll see you guys next time.